Hello, sports fans. TK here to tell you about the latest and greatest Blood Bowl news. Today, we dive into the Old World Executioners and their 3-2 win over the Snot Picker Ballkickers. Let's dig into the action. It was a beautiful day, and the fans were out in droves to see a matchup between the two most seasoned coaches in the league. Both coaches entered into the match with a plan, and both executed it perfectly, and it resulted in the highest scoring game of the season, despite the Executioners playing without their star thrower, Hadmar. The Executioners won the coin toss and opted to start with the ball, and old TK thinks that the coach had a plan to put a hurtin' on them stunty runties, and it didn't take long before Thogenrim, the newest dwarf blitzer, set one off the pitch. Otho was carried off the pitch with a dislocated shoulder and what looked like ribs sticking out of his chest. Fortunately, the apothecary was able to push those bones right back into his body, though his shoulder still needed some attention. Otho will need some rest, but he avoided the grave. Hito, that dwarf runner, high off of his MVP award last week, rumbled and bumbled his way in for a tutty. Nothing like watching a fat dwarf steamroll his way into the end zone. But the Executioners left just a bit too much time on the clock. Late in the half, Lutgard, a hopeful, was able to knock another halfling off the pitch and right out of the game, and that was followed up by Bernherb chucking old Lutgard down the pitch, and that stunty runty slipped past the line and squeezed his chubby cheeks into the end zone. The halflings opened up the second half with the ball and immediately went to work with old Bernherb tossing Inigo, a catcher, down the pitch, and that buttery butterball greased his way through the defense to put the score up 2-1. It was real early in the second half, though, and the Executioners immediately went to work. Those boys set plenty of block, and there were multiple chubby little cheese chasers getting some minor head wounds and getting attention in the old KO box. And late in the second half, Gerlinda cruised in for the game's fourth tutty and brought the game to a tie, and it would be in overtime that the Executioners would pull ahead. They won the overtime toss, and it was largely uneventful, save for Gerwig scoring the game-winning tutty, putting the Executioners up 3-2. The Snot Pickers went in planning to toss halflings and rely on their stunty, runty size to carry them through the game, and those butterballs got all buttered up like a buttery butter sandwich before the game, 'cause they were slipping and sliding all over the pitch, with the Executioners virtually unable to stop their dodging, ducking, dipping, diving, and dodging. But the Executioners went in with the intent to ignore the trees and simply bully the halflings and give those ball kickers the ball kicking of a lifetime. And while the plan didn't translate into too many injuries, enough of the stunty runties got knocked out that the Executioners were able to score at will. That win puts the Executioners in second, right behind the ball kickers, though Who Do You Do was managed to rattle off 2 straight wins to overtake third place. Next, we will recap Who Do You Do's beatdown of the Inland Sunbathers and the preview of the final week of the regular season. Old TK's ready for some action.